Okay, be honest. How many times have you lost your keys this week? Or lost your phone while it's in your hand? ADHDers' forgetfulness is not just a matter of being a little bit scatterbrained. It can be a real struggle and affects many areas of our life. But what if I told you that your forgetfulness can be a real asset too? Would you believe me? It's okay if you don't. It's hard to change something that you feel is just a fundamental truth in your life. And you have the proof every single time your memory fails you. So let's talk about it. The good, the bad, and the ways to help you cope. Let's get started. We all have a million examples of how our memory problems affect our lives. Losing items because you forgot where you put them, or that you had them in the first place. Making mistakes because you can't remember the instructions that were just given to you or the page you just read. Or forgetting what you're talking about in the middle of a sentence. Not to mention missing deadlines and appointments on a regular basis. Sound familiar? Me too. ADHDers have a very poor working memory. That's the kind of memory you need to hold a phone number in your head while you look for a pen. Or when you're having a conversation and something distracts you so you can't remember what you were talking about. Despite what your stimulation-seeking brain might be telling you, ADHDers are not good multitaskers. We need to focus on one thing entirely to help us remember to do all the steps for that one thing. If we move on to something else, we are definitely going to forget what we were doing. ADHDers also have poor recall, which means that we struggle to find the information stored in our memory. Once we're given some sort of memory cue, we're usually pretty good. It's like a multiple choice test. When you're reading the question, you have no idea what the answer is. But as you go through the different choices, once you find the right answer, you immediately have access to all the information about that question, which is great if we're doing a multiple choice test. Not so great if you're expected to memorize the answers. Part of the reason for this is that neurodivergents take in more information and store more information than our neurotypical peers. That means that the filing cabinets in our minds are overflowing. And we need a little bit of direction in order to find the correct information. Once we get that hint, we know exactly where to look. The second reason we are so often forgetful is that we don't always encode the information into our memory. When you lose something that you just had in your hand, it's because you weren't there when you set it down. Not mentally, anyway. We aren't always conscious of the actions. And in order to encode a memory, we need to be conscious of what we're doing. Having a poor memory can be a real struggle in your life. The cons for this trait are really easy to spot and really easy to shame somebody for. Forgetting birthdays and the plans you make with people is not exactly considered acceptable behavior. It pisses a lot of people off, and it's not easy to forgive ourselves when the options to explain this behavior are either stupidity or arrogance. Memory and intelligence are woven together in our society, despite how incredibly inaccurate that sentiment is. Regardless, it causes all sorts of problems in our relationships, whether it's because we're forgetting to clean or we're forgetting to pick something up we've run out of, no matter how many times our partners remind us. It's going to rub people the wrong way. And because we're people pleasers, we're going to more likely accept that we are just bad people than to acknowledge that this isn't something that we can control. My husband, for instance, he knows that I do not remember things, especially if they're told to me orally. If you write it down on the pad of paper that I keep on my desk, I am far less likely to forget to do XYZ. But when he forgets to write it on the paper, it's me that ends up feeling like I've failed because I've forgotten to do something. And on top of that, we can forget about planning ahead or building healthy routines and habits. We're just going to forget them tomorrow. This often means that we end up paying an ADHD tax, where we have to pay extra to accommodate something we've forgotten, like having to pay a $50 deposit because we forgot about an appointment, so we didn't give them 24-hour notice or whatever. Not to mention the mental clutter that comes with just trying to remember all these things, knowing that we're dropping balls all over the place. And all of that leads straight to a shame spiral. Because again, we're given the option between either stupidity or arrogance. And if those are the only two choices for self-description, it's no wonder so many ADHDers are just full of self-hatred. There is another option though, and that is to stop seeing your forgetfulness as a character flaw. Forgetfulness is entirely morally neutral. That's right. It has nothing to do with who you are or even what you're capable of. A poor memory means one thing. You have a poor memory. That's it. I mean, sure, there are consequences to dropping the ball, but it doesn't mean that the person dropping the ball is a bad person. It just means that they need help so that they don't drop the ball so often. But before we get into what can help us, let's talk pros. Because I bet you're wondering, how on earth can having a poor memory be a good thing? To start, we can forget drama super quickly. I mean, it doesn't roll off our backs. Rejection sensitivity is a real problem. But if our memories were great, we'd have receipts for every single time we screwed up. And if you're the sort of person that ruminates on things that happened years ago, then you should appreciate the fact that there are plenty that you don't even remember. Thank the ever-loving gods for that. Another benefit is that we have a much easier time staying in the now compared to neurotypicals. We can barely remember the past, and we can forget we even have a future. So now is the only time we have. Forgetting steps means that we have to think on our feet. Forgetting rules leads straight to innovation. Let's be honest, we're not likely to follow the rules even if we could remember. But even if they sit in the back of our minds, making a conscious choice to break a rule takes up a lot more energy than simply not remembering it exists. Also, having a poor memory forces us to build resilience. Failures are inevitable, and forgetting them quickly means that we can move on more quickly. This may mean that we end up repeating our mistakes, but it also means that with every iteration, we learn something new either about the situation or ourselves. And lastly, having a poor memory means that you get to surprise yourself all the time. Winter Kristen can put $20 in the pocket of her coat, and Summer Kristen doesn't know it exists. But next winter, surprise, I have an extra $20. And that's all thanks to your past self's perfect forgetfulness. That one could easily go in the tips and tricks, because finding ways to make your life fun is going to make your brain happy. And a happy brain is going to make your life easier. But let's move on to the rest of the tips and tricks. Tip number 1, never trust your memory. She is a liar and a cheat. She'll tell you she's got this and never have it again. Or better yet, she'll give you a completely false memory. Have you ever thought you had your keys in your back pocket, realized you didn't, thought you lost them, and then when you get home, they're like on the table, but you have a distinct memory of putting them in your back pocket? That's a false memory. And your brain gives those to you whenever it doesn't know what information you want. The easiest way to remember things is to stop relying on the thing that notoriously doesn't remember. So externalize it. Make lists. Use alarms, reminders, post-it notes, whatever you need to do to get the memories up here down on a page so that you don't have to worry about forgetting them. Tip number 2, visuals. Put things where you can see them. Make that its official home. Put keys on a hook by the door. Put your water bottle in front of your coffee maker so you remember to fill it up and pack it, because you know you're going to go get coffee in the morning. So having your water bottle right there is an easy way to remember to refill it. If you want to start a habit of reading every night, put your book on your pillow in the morning when you make your bed. You're not going to remember to read when you go to bed unless the book's there to remind you. Make everything as easy as possible for yourself, even if you feel like you shouldn't need to. Firstly, your memory will improve when you stop putting so much pressure on it. And secondly, what would you rather? Look a little silly, but remember to do the thing? Or rely on your memory and forget? Tip number 3, use the win-then method. When I finish my breakfast, then I check my to-do list. When I get ready to leave, then I grab my bag. It doesn't matter what it is. Just get in the rhythm of habit stacking. That's where you have a chain of habits so that one habit reminds you to do the next habit, which reminds you to do the next habit and the next, and so on. It's way easier to remember a sequence than it is to remember individual tasks throughout your day. Again, the less you try to force yourself to remember, the more brain power you're going to have to do other things. And lastly, forgive yourself. You are not rude, lazy, or dumb. Your brain is not broken. It's overloaded. And it's going to work better when you start taking some of that pressure off of yourself. Thanks for watching. I'm Kristen. This is Creatively Divergent. I make videos once a week, so make sure you hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next week. Bye.